Here we go.
Wow.
You didn't expect that, did you?
Man, no, not at all.
I caught you boys off guard. Not like Cleveland caught you off guard today.
Yeah, they sure did.
Welcome, everybody. Week 13. We are the boys from Reality Football. I'm Porterhouse.
I'm Skinner.
Fish.
How's my brothers today?
Great. Doing good. Doing good. Been a long week.
Been a
Hoping
long
for
day.
and a long day. I hear you.
Yeah, but hey, football still rolled on in this COVID world. Still just craziness going on with that. Not much to report, kind of the same old is going on, so we won't get into too much of that. But the games today are the story. I did not get my prediction video in, but Skinner, you did, and it seems like you're taking a bath so far.
Oh, I'm taking it on the chin today with the games. And I didn't pick very many upsets, or at least what I thought was going to be upsets. It was just generally a crazy world in the NFL today.
Yeah, how about you, Fish?
Well, yeah, I mean, I one game I definitely got wrong today was, I was certainly rooting for the Cleveland Browns, but I didn't think that they would actually beat Tennessee on the road. So that was a pleasant surprise there. So
yeah, I'm sure that's the sentiment of Browns fans all over the country. So I tell you what, guys, how about we just kind of go down the list of what's on my screen here, and we'll finish up talking about the Browns. Nothing unusual in the NFC East. The Eagles, well, I shouldn't say that, but the Packers just destroyed the Eagles, which gives credence to what I said a couple weeks ago, that I think the Chargers are going to come out of the East. Now, of course, what Washington does tomorrow night has a lot to say about that.
you mean the Giants?
You
The
meant
Giants,
yeah,
Chargers. But
Yeah.
the Giants are going to come out of the East.
Mhm.
And today they shocked everybody by putting it on the Seattle Seahawks. What happened there?
My goodness. I don't know what happened. 17-12 final, Giants over Seattle.
No turnovers by Russell Wilson. Metcalf had a great game.
Kept them
Just-
out of the end zone.
I think the story for the Giants was their rushing attack. They had Colt McCoy come in and play quarterback today, and I don't know.
Wait a minute. Did you say Colt McCoy?
I think you heard the man
Yes.
right. You said Colt McCoy.
Yeah.
Texas quarterback, former Browns.
I didn't
Yeah.
know he was even still in the NFL. My goodness.
Yeah, absolutely. He had he only had 100 yards passing more than I had today, sitting in the bar watching
I was
the
going to say
Browns
the
game.
same thing.
Yeah, but I think the story there was Wayne Gallman for the Giants. I'm not too familiar with Wayne, but Wayne had a heck of a day rushing for them. With 16 carries, 135 yards. He averaged 8.4 yards a carry. So
Well, there you go.
the rushing attack for the Giants did in Seattle today, it seems like.
Wow. Seattle, we said it before, one of those teams that you can't get your finger on. You don't know who they are. They're world beaters for 3 or 4 games, and then something like this happens. Very interesting to see our top 5 later on, fellas. Very interesting.
Absolutely.
Okay, what you got on your radar, Skinner?
I thought it was interesting, not surprising, the Miami Cincinnati game. Cincinnati just can't find good luck if bad luck was on its way out the door. I don't know how else to put it. You know, the game today, they lost 19-7. Out of the early games, that was the most wide victory out of the first 7 games of the on the card
Right.
today.
Yeah.
What was interesting about that game is the only reason the game was close, the Dolphins kicked 3 field goals, one from the 1-yard line, one from the 5-yard line, one from the 8-yard line.
Stop.
9 points versus 21. That's why the game was as close as it was.
Stop.
Cincinnati had 25 yards total offense in the second half.
Wow. Any games catch your attention, Fish?
Well, let me one more thing about that Miami game. I read a stat on NFL.com. The Dolphins D has been stepping up here. So the Dolphins have allowed 21 points or fewer in 9 of their 12 games. That's the most in the NFL.
Yeah.
So
I think
most
Dolphins are
games
going to be
with
one of those teams that if they get a wild card, teams are going to be very, very careful about them.
Absolutely. Well, to me, we touched on it briefly, but game of the day for me was the Cleveland Browns upsetting the Titans on the road. I tell you what,
I was trying to savor that, but good gravy.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead.
Winnie isn't the story. How they came out and punched them in the mouth tells me everything, because there's just certain teams as a Steelers fan that I get a little bit concerned about, because I think they're very tough, and we got to be on our A game. Not just because they're talented, but they're just tough. The Ravens, of course, the Jaguars, usually defensively, but man, those Titans are just tough. They're built tough, made tough, and they got out tough today by the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, they still came back pretty strong there. I mean, they only lost by 6 points, and Cleveland was up by 20. Out. Yeah, they're up by 20 points in the fourth quarter, Cleveland. But I kind of thought it would be more of a rushing duel today. And Chubb and Henry had decent.
That's what
days,
I was going to say. The thing that stands out to me, Chubb didn't even get 100 yards today.
Neither one of them did.
Yeah, he got what was it, 80 yards? I think I saw Chubb.
Yeah, 80 yards, and Henry had 60 yards, and they both averaged over 4 yards a carry. But it was interesting that the aerial attacks from both teams was I guess expected for Tennessee to have to come back from behind, but Cleveland's aerial attack, Baker Mayfield, was today his greatest game of the season. Pretty easily, Baker Mayfield.
Without question. And
I think hands down.
It was his most important game of the season too.
Yeah.
One of the things I get tired of people saying is, well, who have you beaten? I had some idiot on Facebook say that to me the other day, and my answer was, as far as I can tell, everybody.
Right.
But, Cleveland, of course, was no stranger to that type of question and ridicule. So this is a great win in their belt. So on a quest to get a wild card, this not only shut up some critics, but you got to realize that it's got to make Mayfield feel pretty good right now. He came out and punched the tough Tennessee team in the mouth.
Absolutely, and some nicely thrown balls today too. And then great, to see Myles Garrett back out there again for Cleveland. He got a half a sack today, I believe, or a sack, and then
2 helmets to the head. I heard he hit a couple of people in the locker room, but that's neither here nor there.
That ain't Steeler week yet. That'll happen then.
Yeah, so great win for Cleveland, and just they just look like a completely different team. I mean, I don't know. So great. Stefanski's doing some great things there as a coach, and it's good to see the learners, keeping their mouths shut and just letting the coach and just stay out of the way. I
wish more people would do that. More owners would do that. They look like a different team when Chubb came back, and you thought, well, it's the running game. But now you see the rest of the team rising up to the level of the running game, and this is definitely going to be the team nobody wants to face come playoff time.
Yeah, that's funny because the field this week is totally different than last week when they barely survived Jacksonville. Jacksonville at one point had the lead against Cleveland. Cleveland ended up winning when the clocks hit 0, but.
Well, Skinner, you make an interesting point here, and I'm going to segue out of this for a minute. If you want to come back, that's fine. But another team barely survived Jacksonville today.
Yeah.
Another really good football team.
And they survived.
That was that team that was in the wild card hunt and probably thought they had an easy win today, and that's the Minnesota Vikings.
And they had to come down 10 points just to tie it in regulation.
Yeah. So Jacksonville's not as bad as what's going on. They got some issues they need to fix and maybe get a quarterback, but they still got the makings of a good team going on down there. So
they're better. They're better than 1-11.
They're better than 1-11. So Cleveland barely beating them last week is not an indictment on Cleveland. It's just saying, hey, Jacksonville's pretty good. That's why I look at it anyway.
Right.
Raiders jumped back. They had a bye week today. They played the Jets.
Yeah, and took a miraculous play for them to take the lead back to win that game.
Yeah, the Jets are the Jets.
They find more ways to lose than they do to win, And Vegas, they're just, to me, yeah, I know they beat the Browns. That's their signature win along with beating Kansas City, but they are just not as good as we all thought they were going to be the first half of the season, you know?
So are they done with Darnold?
Oh, I
I
think
don't think so.
so.
I
You
don't
don't think so?
The
No,
Jets?
no,
I think
yeah,
so.
I don't think so at all. First of all, I don't think they want to dump this contract off right now. I
Mhm.
think you got to understand this kid's had no one to throw to, no one
No.
to block for him, and no one to run the ball.
Mhm.
And I really think you're not doing yourself due diligence if you don't give him a fair shot before you move away. Bringing in another quarterback is just going to put another quarterback in the same situation. So, the grass ain't always greener. I know you're looking at your Trevor Lawrences of the world and all these guys that look, shiny or whatever. But don't forget, this was Sam Darnold too. He's taking a lot of injuries because he's taking a lot of sacks, and I just think it would not be the smartest move right now to just move away from him.
I think about Sam Darnold. I think of another quarterback that we haven't heard from in a while, and that's Johnny Manziel. He's kind of got the same
Johnny who?
Johnny Manziel. Now, the reason I say that they're two totally different quarterbacks.
Right.
Yeah.
Johnny Manziel had no chance in Cleveland, just as Sam Darnold has no chance in the Jets. That's why I made the comparison, to be truthful.
Yeah.
Well, Manziel, a lot of that was his own doing. I don't think Darnold's, he's not that type of guy. Maybe a different coach or something like that, or a different scheme, or they need a lot of help over there. I don't know.
Yeah. Who asked the question about moving on from?
I did.
Okay. Well, let me put it like this, Bish. That was my opinion. Will they do it? Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. Just for the simple fact that if they can bring in a shinier name, maybe they can attract some more free agents. When Darnold was the flavor of the month, it attracted Le'Veon Bell and a couple others. And now that his name's kind of been tarnished there, I can see them doing it for that purpose. I wouldn't, but I would build through the draft, but that's me. So,
well, I think they need a fresh start.
They need a general manager who knows what they're doing, first of all.
Well, yeah, I mean, it starts from the top there. I mean, you got your owners. They can only do so much. They'll write the checks, but you start at the general manager and work your way all the way down, kind of like what the Browns have done over the last 4 years. I mean, is there anybody left from that 0-16 team in 17? I don't know if too many left from that team on the field or off the field that's left from that staff.
Yeah.
So I think that's what they need is a clean slate there in Jetsville. I don't see it working any other way.
We'll talk more about the Jets than probably local Jets radio on this show.
Hey guys, who kicked off the Patriots today?
Yeah. How the heck have they scored 45
Who said
points?
something about the New England Patriots mama? Because they're
I think Hoodie was getting pissed because nobody was talking about him.
Well, there you go.
Or they were talking about him in a fashion that he wasn't liking very well.
Hey, Herbert, don't play defense, man. Can't put this one on him, even though he did throw 2 interceptions. But Jiminy Criminy, 45 to 0.
Yeah. And did you see how many yards that Cam Newton had?
Not as much as you would think when you see a score like that. Hardly any at all. I hate to see this kind of score because I hate to see Anthony Lynn lose his job. I really like him as a coach. But this is not good, not a good look. 45-0 to a struggling New England team.
Yeah.
Not good at all.
Well, the only thing he's got going for him is New England has looked better as of late. Last couple games, they've looked like glimpses of a good team. But yeah, you're right. A 5-6 team getting beat by a 5-6 team by 45 that's unacceptable.
Yeah, but you make a great point as well. You got beat by Bill Belichick. If you're going to take a 45 burger by anybody, you want it to be him. You're not the only one.
Right.
Well, the Colts pulled one out today that they just needed to win against Houston. So
desperately.
Yeah, Rivers had a decent day today. But Watson had a great game for Houston as well. Pretty good game as well. Colts needed that one to stay in the
Colts
thick
get
of
down
things.
with desperate. When we talk about the Colts, fish, let's talk about Houston. So here's another team that's like, you just know a couple pieces here and there, and they're back in the thick of things. What do you think they need to start first, guys?
Houston?
Yeah.
They need a running game.
Thank you. That's what I
Yeah.
was thinking. Exactly.
You know, we
Boy,
watched them against Cleveland. They had absolutely no running attack whatsoever.
Could you imagine them with the Chubb and a Hunt back there?
Oh boy. Yeah.
Oh yeah, with Watson as
Mhm.
a dual threat quarterback. My goodness, yeah. If they had a running game, we would be talking about them being the front runner for the Super Bowl this year, even without Hopkins.
Now, folks, we
Truthfully.
did not talk about this in production. That was just purely coincidental. I was thinking the exact same thing, guys. Exact same thing, running game. So, oh well. Saints still on their winning ways. I didn't do my prediction videos. This would have been my upset of the week, guys.
Oh, you thought
Really?
Atlanta was going to beat them?
Absolutely. I mean, it happens a lot. Divisional game. Look how close it was. And no Drew Brees. Absolutely, this would have been my upset of the week. The
Taysom
fact
Hill,
that the
man.
Saints won this says a heck of a lot about the Saints.
Yeah, check now. So since 2019, the Saints are now 8-0 without Drew Brees. How about that?
That's crazy.
You would not think that. Yep.
Can you spell no new contract?
Well, I have
Wow.
a feeling Drew Brees. This could very well be his last full-time
I think it is.
season.
I think it is.
You know, especially if they make it to the big dance here at the end of the season. I'm not sure he comes back after this last injury.
I
Truthfully,
agree.
What, does he stay on and mentor a little bit, or do you think he rides off in the sunset?
he's going to be on
Oh
somebody's
no, that
roster.
guy's gonna be sitting in front with a headset on somewhere.
Yeah. Oh
They
yeah.
already got it made for him.
He's going to be on the side. I wouldn't be surprised if he's not on the sidelines in New Orleans. Truthfully,
They're gonna get some makeup for that scar in his eye. He's gonna be sitting somewhere with some real cream in his hair, looking pretty.
What do you mean? That Oprah doesn't go like this and trying to take it off? You know he loves that.
How about the Bears? Lost another one. The one that they had.
Yeah,
Gave
yawn.
up 14 points in the fourth quarter.
I actually had Detroit losing to Chicago today. That was one of my upsets, if there is such a thing. But yeah, Chicago just can't figure it out.
Yeah.
Well, we're a little bit late. You know, sometimes things happen in the middle of the week. We didn't get to cover. We didn't get to talk about Matt Patricia being fired as much.
Right.
We also the GM for the Jaguars was fired last week.
Oh, he was fired like 2 minutes after the Browns game
Yeah,
ended.
he sure was.
I mean, they didn't waste no time.
He was getting something out the locker. They was like, dude, call a Uber.
Yeah. That reminds me, I need to talk to you 2 minutes after this call, Skinner.
Oh. No, we need to talk to you, Skinner. Hey, Skinner, that reality football hoodie you were going to order, don't
order it, right? Okay, I'll take that out of the shopping cart.
We're gonna make you our COVID quarantine host.
That's a good segue, Fish. You were talking something about the COVID quarantine quarterbacks.
Yeah, that was. I saw that on the Washington Post today online. It was Buffalo is just the crazy world that we're living in right now. Buffalo specifically has a quarterback on their roster, Jake Fromm, this guy, and they keep him in quarantine. So he takes meetings virtually. He practices outside the team. He works out by himself, and the article was interesting. I mean, obviously, that does a number on your mind.
You know what that reminds me of, right?
What's that?
The designated survivor.
Yeah.
Do you guys know what that is?
I know the show.
Okay, but you know what it is in real life.
Yeah.
So that's I mean, that's not something they talk about a lot, but it's something that has to be done in every state of the union. Some member of the cabinet has to be hidden away separately in case, catastrophe happens. So we're going to make you a designated host, Skinner.
Well, actually, we should one of our co-hosts, we know Coach Cooper hasn't been around for a while. We were trying to keep that a secret, but actually we do have Coach Cooper locked away in a bunker
In case of
Just
a
in
pandemic
in
outbreak.
case the
Right.
three of us get COVID at the same time or something. That way the show can continue
That's
because
exactly what we're doing.
the fans demand it. They really do. So
It's because we care, guys. We care.
Well, way to look out for the show, fellas. Way to look out for the show.
and thank you, Coach Cooper. I'm sure you're listening to this in the the cell that you're in right now.
Doing a radio show to yourself.
Yes. Thank you. We do appreciate the dedication. Thank you very much.
Wow. But it's interesting when you said this about the designated quarterback. Jake Fromm, in
Mhm.
particular, is not just some Yahoo off the practice squad. I mean, he came out of college with a name
Mhm.
and had high hopes for him. Of course, the starting job thing didn't last very long. But he was somebody. He was what college did he come out of? He came out of it's on the tip of my head. He paid Houston County High School.
Trying to think where he came out of.
Anyway, but it's still but it's an interesting and then now the
Georgia. That's Georgia's
Georgia?
quarterback. Yeah.
Okay.
Of course, he went to the Rose Bowl. Georgia was right there in the top 4 for a
right.
lot
Yeah.
of that going on. So
I thought it was an SEC team, but I couldn't quite remember exactly which team it was came out of.
SEC Freshman of the Year in 2017, SEC Champs in 2017, and he was the Rose Bowl champion in 2018. So this is not some scrub that they got hiding away.
Right.
A couple other teams are doing the same thing. Washington has a guy. His name escapes me, but and Denver, since now Blake Bortles, they're keeping him away from the other quarterbacks as well. So I guess he comes in now, takes a test, and they keep him separated so they don't get themselves in the same predicament as last week. Now, obviously, if you get down to that level of a quarterback, the odds are you may not win anyways, even with a backup quarterback who's practicing regularly. But the fact remains that just an interesting dynamic. That's all.
It's starting to catch on. They said that Aaron Rodgers has a designated all-state agent.
Yes.
And,
right.
Yes. And Ben Roethlisberger has a designated assault guy.
Oh boy.
I'd say parole officer, maybe.
Wow, I can't believe you went there. That's usually our joke. But,
I was just a lot worse. But
All right, folks.